What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Welcome back to another LEGO Lover 117 audio commentary, and today's commentary is going to be on Percy and Caroline, my most recent episode of my series, just under a year late. So, with all that being said, let's just jump into it.
Suddenly, they saw a notice ahead.
So we start off here with a remade scene from Percy's predicament. I guess you could count this as a semi-remake, I suppose. I've only done 4 official remakes, but I've done scene remakes, if you don't already know. This is my second scene. Actually, it's my third, now that I think about it. Because in my Donald and Douglas review, I remade a scene from Legend of the Lost Treasure, and then in a short, I believe it's called Dumped in the Sea, I remade a scene from Percy Takes the Plunge. So this is my third scene remake, but I don't count those as actual remakes because, you know, they're just scenes from the episode and they're just used in context of the story. So, yeah, basically the joke here is that Percy has gotten into the exact same accident twice, and before I forget, Daisy is in this scene. She's behind that line of trucks. You really didn't see her all that well. You have to really pay attention to see her, but trust me, she's in there.
How exactly does the exact same accident with the
And basically the only reason that this scene is even in the episode is to justify why I'm using a new style Percy nowadays, which I don't really know why I'm trying to justify that. I gave up on continuity on my series a long time ago. My series is purely for, you know, comedy, joking around, references, because I feel referencing things is where my humor reaches its strong suit. So, yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be using a old or new style Percy in my season 1 remastering, because really, all of these episodes can really take place in the same time period. So that you just saw there was another reference to something. It was a reference to the hit Christian TV show VeggieTales, which I grew up watching. And you saw the minifigures Matt, Roman, and Mike. Matt's minifigure has now been given ginger hair. It's been upgraded. And we have our intro, which now has titles on it. Those titles came around, and I believe Shapes and Strategies, I believe, where the titles originated from. This intro I've been using ever since 2013 when I made it on an iPod editing software. So, yeah, I really should probably go back and refilm it, but, you know. And here's another joke, Rip Percy. I come in saying, what? You think we killed Percy?
Percy? No.
Of course not.
That's another person.
We get our title card, and there's me, Mr. Narrator, explaining what exactly is going on. And
attacked me for not accurately representing the island of Sodor. It's my series, so deal with it. Speaking of,
you know, I'm saying how I don't want everyone to rage at me because, oh, I'm changing where things are in the universe, but and that I'm disrespecting the Reverend Audrey, but you know, the Steamworks is from the new TV series era, so Reverend didn't create the Steamworks, so I can do whatever the heck I want with where the Steamworks is.
Too. I see all. Well, don't question.
So there I am freaking Percy out because he sees the narrator standing there. That's actually yet another reference. That's a reference to VeggieTales, Josh and the Big Wall, because Bob the Tomato says the exact same thing to Larry the Cucumber, who's playing Joshua in that special. So check that out if you want to get the reference. And if you just saw earlier, you saw him finally using Victor in a episode. And I make the joke there. Strange it didn't look like Percy in his old shape, because for some reason I thought it was cool to, you know, use an old style Percy as Victor to play Victor.
Basically,
as like an actor per se, but you know.
Yeah, I get
people
that.
Didn't like that. So we got Thomas and Gordon here talking about streamlining, which is another reference to the Great Race, because, you know, everybody's getting streamlined, and Gordon's getting streamlined. Apparently Thomas is going to get streamlined in maybe a dream sequence or something, so it makes sense that those two characters are talking about streamlined engines.
Indeed I did. Well, it looks pretty good. I can see that your face is a little bigger than it was before. Gee, Thomas, Thanks for the fat joke. No, I didn't mean it like that. What was that? A car horn.
There's
What else?
another
Okay,
little, like,
let
jokey
me
moment with
rephrase
Thomas
that.
and
Who
Percy
was that?
bantering back
That's
and forth. And
Caroline,
Percy's like, thanks,
the
Thomas,
local
for the
grumpy
fat joke.
station wagon.
That
She
was
shows
kind
up
of a
here
joke just
now,
thrown in there,
and,
just for
again,
joke's sake.
I believe she's being
Not one of my
used
best,
as a
but, you know.
taxi nowadays. Didn't she have a run-in with Stepney and some cricket players? She's that car? We're in for a real treat then. Oh, look, if it isn't the two
So obviously here's Caroline and her introduction to my series. I wanted to use Caroline as quickly as possible because I think she's a really good model. Her model is a perfect example of mostly plastic, but it works because that's the only way that they could have made Caroline's model work. If they hadn't used plastic, it would have turned out like crap.
Thank you, Caroline. Diggle and
So-
I'll take it from here. My pleasure, boys.
Here's a little cameo by Oliver Queen and John Diggle to characters from Arrow, a TV show I really like.
Real original
So,
old-timer.
Yeah, they have something to do here. They're not just here for cameo's sake. They contribute well to the plot. That's all I'm gonna say. If you haven't watched this yet, I'm pretty sure you have. But if you haven't, then they contribute to the plot later on. But we will get to that in a moment. So here's where Caroline and Percy are arguing back and forth, and Caroline really offends, Percy and everyone else, and this sets up the conflict that Percy has inside of himself, saying that, well, I've never had someone, speak to me like that, and I've never had I've never had a car go off on me like this, and do I, pay her out, or do I wait for her to get her comeuppance herself? And this really introduces more of a personal conflict within a character in my series. I know I'm looking way too deep into this, but I've never actually tried to add some sort of like a dramatic thing into my series. I actually did try in Don't Be a Coward with James and the Viaduct and his PTSD, but that really didn't work out because no one had seen the original Violent Viaduct, and when I remaster that this coming year, then Don't Be a Coward will make a lot more sense, because I don't want you to go back and watch the original version because it's awful.
That's when Team Arrow.
So here's Oliver and John talking about, our villain, or somewhat of a villain. He's an antagonist. His name is Anton Valen, which is another reference. That's actually the name of the villain from RoboCop 2014. So Anton Valen is a reference, in case you're wondering. So Oliver and John then go and talk to the swag controller because Oliver knows Mr. Swaggy. I don't know why I just said that. That's weird. That has not been set up yet, but maybe you'll see Oliver Queen pop up in season 1. Who knows? So now we get a montage of Percy working. This was actually pretty fun to shoot. I got to experiment with some different trains that Percy could be pulling and different kind of track placements. And if you notice, in that cargo car, that white piece there, that was just 2 fence pieces that I owned. Now here's the quarry, and there's Mavis in the background with Scruffy and the coal loader. I really think this set is actually really accurate to the TV series Season 2 style quarry. That's actually where I got the plan for this quarry is from the shots in Percy's predicament. So I tried to make it as accurate as possible, and I think I do a pretty good job with my accurate track placement.
Anyway, she said some very nasty things to us earlier. Hold on.
Yet another reference to, Caroline and Stepney getting into the entanglement back with the cricket players. Obviously, my series is supposed to know about the TV series,
unless I'm reading it on
but
paper. I need clarification.
Does it take place in context with the TV series? It does take place in modern day. My series does, so I guess it does. I've never really explored that to see if it really
and you should read more. Just
connects
then,
with the
Ryan
TV series.
arrived. He had
I mean, I
heard
did just
everything.
remake a scene from it at the beginning of this episode, so I guess it does come in context with the TV series.
Oh,
And
hello,
hey,
Ryan.
it's Ryan's
Wait,
first appearance
What's Seinfeld?
in my
It's
series.
today. They just
Or
don't know
is
what
it?
good
Or has
and
Ryan been on Sodor this
Anyway,
entire time?
Percy, here's
Obviously,
my
I
two
haven't,
cents on the
said
problem.
that Ryan
Just
hasn't been
wait
on Sodor
it out.
previously, so maybe he'll
We'll
pop
let
up in
the
season 1. Maybe he's
situation
always
solve
been here. Who knows?
So, Caroline will get what's coming to her. Just let it happen on its own. Just the advice I figured you'd give him, which is entirely wrong. Excuse me, good sir. Look, Percy, this guy's idea was...
Now, I tried to make Toby
have-
sound as
have
old as he
worked
possibly
back
could with the
in
excuse me, good sir type
1990s,
thing with the modern English.
but it's
And
2016.
obviously, if
Now,
you didn't
man,
notice,
you gotta take
Ryan
action.
did
Not
reference
just sit back and
Seinfeld,
wait.
so
Do something to
yeah,
get back at
I'm
Caroline.
a huge fan of
Don't wait for
Seinfeld.
it to happen naturally. Take responsibility and do it on your own. That is the completely wrong way to go about it. Hey, it's just an opinion, man. Ryan left to collect some cars while Toby
That's
had
a
some more
reference
something
what
to do. But
what
this
Ryan
left
just said about
Percy
it just
even
being
more confused. Meanwhile,
an opinion. I guess you could take that as a reference,
sir.
I suppose, to the Thomas Gordon Railway community not being
Terribly
able to
sorry to
handle
Popham, but
opinions.
Iggle and I really must be leaving.
But the
What?
shot that you just
Why
saw
is
with
that a rush?
Anton
The
Valen
man
and Caroline,
we're
that was actually filmed on my
going to
phone.
close our deal
With my
with
phone
it just
is a
arrived
Samsung
and be late.
Galaxy
Where is he?
S6,
Perhaps
and its
I should
camera is
schedule a
just
train to
freaking
take you.
stupid.
No,
It
thanks,
is
Apple.
amazing.
catch
It
him
films in
again soon.
complete
Dad, I had a
10
queen. I was racing
80p,
up
which
to
is
his next
opposed to my
location.
camera, which only filmed in
Caroline
720, which a lot of this was
came up
shot
a few
with. Like this entire action sequence coming up here with Oliver and John. That was shot with my camera, but some of this was shot with my phone. And the reason I don't film with my phone all the time is because it takes up so much space. Like just a 5-minute
You'll know it when you see it.
video is at least 3 gigabytes, and it takes so long to import into Camtasia because it's really not able to handle that much footage shot in that great of a quality. So
Ready?
I shoot where my
Ready?
I shoot with my phone when I can. So this action sequence here is pretty good. I think it came out how I envisioned it. I didn't really get a chance to talk about, Oliver and John building suspense up there. So I don't really know what kind of accent I was going for with Anton Valen. It was really just a foreign accent, I suppose. And I wish I could have made that action sequence with John and Anton a little longer. That was just because I was rushing to finish this, and I
had him.
I wish I
Is he?
I really wish I could have made it longer. And that shot with Anton falling over took forever to shoot. I mean, I wasn't using one of those black base plates that I have Oliver and John's standing on that make it easy for them to stand on carpet. And that was a mistake because Anton kept falling over whenever he didn't need to be falling over, and it took forever to have him stand in the carpet. And that's the price you pay for a good shot, I suppose.
Then again, do cars even have
That's a really good shot of the narrator running away.
Whatever could have
Bye,
happened?
everybody. I'm
We were
out.
going so nicely too.
You can see the trucks and Oliver and all of them
Percy
back
saw
under my
something peculiar
desk.
on the line
That's
ahead.
because Percy and Caroline and my Toad Stands By remake were filmed side by side with each other. So that's why you see them back there and Oliver and Toad sitting on top
Caroline,
of a Lego-built
Is that
prison.
you? Oh no, it's you. Well,
Which back there you just saw the
How
thumbnail
ironic
shot. I
this must
forgot to
be.
mention that.
I
Thumbnail
seem
shot.
to recall you saying
So here's
that
where
you'd
Percy
never
and
catch a
Caroline,
car this
have
type of
their
accident. My
confrontation,
accident
and
is
Percy
far less
learns.
ironic than yours was.
And
Nonetheless,
Percy learns
you're in
to
a tight
forgive
spot, and I think
Caroline, which
I'm
is
your
brought up
only
later.
option.
Actually, I think
getting
that's
to
the thumbnail shot.
repair shop safely. Caroline didn't want to.
But anyway, Percy learns to
but
forgive
she knew
Caroline,
Percy was
which, being a Christian myself, forgiveness has always been taught to me, and I've always wanted to, be that person who forgives everybody, is never angry with everybody, and, I really thought that I could
Despite
bring
what
it into
Caroline
this
had said,
series.
Percy, he still came to visit her during the time that she was
Now this
there.
works here
And
was
1
just
week later, Caroline was back on the street.
was never really meant to
running
be
like
seen
new.
again, but I really like the set actually.
So explain
it
to
makes
me
sense.
what this whole Seinfeld
It's
thing
like
is.
this
It was a sitcom
Sodor, you know,
back in the 1990s.
vehicle works,
Apparently
I guess
it's
you
really
could call it.
I think I've heard of that. Wasn't it on around the same time as Home Improvement? Oh no, here we go again.
And some
Actually,
more
I think
references to
this time
Seinfeld
we'll
and Home Improvement. Of course, Gordon has seen both those shows because
Hello.
Gordon is old.
Come on,
Haha.
Caroline. Cut the chatter. Where's the
And yeah, I love
insults?
both of those
I've got
shows.
some
Seinfeld
zingers
and
to
Home
try out
Improvement are
myself.
some of the greatest sitcoms
No
that have ever
insults
made
today,
of
ever.
all
Your
freaking
friend
time.
Percy taught me
Seinfeld
that
more than
no
Home
one is
Improvement, but I
better
like them
than
both.
anyone else. Engine or taxi.
And here's
After
where,
my accident,
you know,
if it
Percy
wasn't for
says, "Hey
Percy,
guys, I
could
learned to
still be
forgive,"
in
which,
the
again, we have a
repair
moral in
shop
this
with worse injuries to my engine. It was still running.
episode, and I
And
really
since
felt that I
she's
was
an
able
older
to
model, her engine could
expand more in my
overheat if
writing,
left on in a
with,
stationary
you know, my humor in referencing
for a
things,
while.
just making jokes
Oh,
for
yes,
jokes' sake, but
very
then I was
informative.
also able
So I want
to
to thank you again, Percy,
introduce
for helping
this
me, even if
sort
I
of
never
a
planned on doing so.
emotional
Help
conflict, I guess,
It was my
with
pleasure,
the
Caroline. Ta-ta, boys.
characters and make you really feel a
Wow, Percy.
somewhat of a
You really got to
personal
learn something.
connection
Actually, I think I learned
with
something too.
them per
What's
se.
that?
It's not
Well, I
really
had a conversation with Toby and
that
Ryan
personal,
about
but it
what
is
to
a
do with Caroline.
connection,
Ryan's suggestion didn't seem practical, but Toby's weighed on me. So
the less, and I really
did
feel that it really
wait for
fits
Caroline
the
to get
tone
what
of
she
this
deserved. But here's the funny thing: I didn't leave her for scrap.
episode.
I helped her, and suddenly I didn't care about what she said anymore. I forgave her for what she'd done, and in return, I felt really good inside. You know what that means, Percy? What? You've really matured since your first days here on the island. Percy felt proud. He'd learned
then-
to forgive.
and then this is
those that
also
had done
a
wrong to
re-
him and
Award for
gained
Percy's character because he
respect
finally
by
gets
one
the
of his
respect of
mentors.
Gordon,
Percy
his
felt
elder,
like one of the
and
greatest
I feel that's a
engines
really
on
powerful
Topham
moment in
Hass
this,
Railway.
in my opinion.
I always love a happy ending to a story. Not to this story.
And here comes another
I still think
reference. Now
Percy
let me go
could have
ahead
used
and
my method. I think Percy did the right thing in helping Caroline. Only because he used your method more than mine. That doesn't make a difference. You're just mad because I don't think Terminator Genesis is
yet
as
again
bad as
another
everyone else
reference.
does.
This one's actually
That was a
pretty
pile of trash,
deep
and
rooted
you
in my
know it.
past.
This is coming from
So
a train
it's
who
funny
liked
to
the
me, but it's
Amazing
not funny to
Spider-Man
you.
2.
Well, actually, it's funny
It was a
because
fine
you know,
film. When will
engines
you stop
referencing
saying
film,
that?
and I'm a film
When you
nerd,
admit
and
that
I,
it's a bad movie.
you know,
I'm not changing my
inject
opinions
my
for you.
personality
Nor
onto
mine for you.
these
Boys,
characters
can
and
we
make them,
all
you
just
know,
agree that
outsperches of
Forsyth
me.
was a pile
Outsperches,
of
that's
utter
not a word,
garbage?
but anyway,
Yeah.
it's
All right
actually a
then.
reference to
Another
me
argument
and
solved.
Mr. MPS. What do I mean by that? By the way, credits are rolling right now. What do I mean by that? I mean that I like Terminator Genesis and MPS likes The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So in that way, I am Toby and Matt is Ryan. So yeah, that's a little reference that you all never even knew existed. So that's the end of Percy and Caroline. I want to thank you all for watching this audio commentary, and as always, good night, everybody.